Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL 44 coming at you with another video. All right, about to do my Thanksgiving thing. It's barely like 3:15, something like that. Yeah, exactly that. 3:16 to be exact. And I'm barely leaving the house, which means by the time I get to where I'm going, it's gonna be dark. Let alone getting back when it's dark. It's gonna be dark when I get to the homie's house. But this is what it is, man. I'm bringing my appetite. I did eat some oatmeal about a couple hours ago, but I feel good. I didn't do my hundreds, which is something I probably should have did, knowing I'm gonna be eating like this. But I did my crunches regimen and did my suitcase squats and all that stuff earlier today. I decided to just do a playlist just now. K-List 403, just a compilation of songs that I like a lot. And I've made 16 of those. Call them For Me the BDFs. That's the way that I differentiate those playlists with other playlists. Essentially, the For Me's are usually playlists of songs that I've already done with other playlists. So yeah, it's a fun thing for me to do, to kind of just make a compilation of a certain vibe that I really like. So that's what I did, man. Use a lot of Summer Walker, Chase Shakur, SZA, that kind of vibe, Four Bats, that kind of vibe. So it was good. I like it, and I will listen to it and make art for it if everything lines up equal tonight, depending on how quickly everything transpires, because I don't know what time I'm coming back in the house tonight. I really don't know. Last year my boy gave me a ride home, but I don't know that he has a vehicle this time, so I might be walking in the dark at 9, 10, 11, 12 at night tonight. So it's just what comes with that Thanksgiving process when you don't have a vehicle, man. And people don't be eating early, you know what I mean? You go to people's house. Last year I got there like 1:30. We didn't eat till like 8. So I told myself this year, nah, that's not quite how I'm feeling today. Play it by ear as it pertains to what time I leave out of the house. So I talked to my boy. He said he was not going to be home till 1, the one whose house it is. So I'm like, I'm not going to try to meet him as he's getting in the house. Let that man get in the house, shower, or whatever you want to do, you know what I mean, and then have the company come over. I think that's probably a better way to play it. And I talked to his cousin like 20 minutes after I talked to him, and he said that he was going to take a nap when he got home. His cousin told him that he was going to take a nap upon arriving. So I'm like, man, I ain't gonna rush over there if the man want to get some sleep before company come over. Let me relax, do what I love to do, make a little playlist here, take my time with it, and when I'm done with it, then I'll get out. And I'm thankful that the Lord didn't allow me to forget that today was payday over here. Even though it's Thanksgiving and monkey don't stop no show, you still got to pay these people. You know what I mean? The business still runs. So I was able to, my uncle gave me the cash yesterday, last night, that he made the transaction go through. So it wasn't no issue for me to just pay him upon waking up this morning. So I didn't hurry up and do that. I instead ate breakfast, made my Laker video. I encourage you guys to check it out if you're interested. Ate that food, and then decided that I was going to do a playlist right after that. I didn't have any interest in rushing around to do anything, especially when I know I could have a long night. So that's really what it's about, man. Now we're gonna walk off the rest of the oatmeal breakfast that I had, and hopefully by the time I get to his place, I'll be ready to eat, man, because that is ultimately what this day is about. Besides the camaraderie of friendship and family, it's about eating food. A part of me wanted to skip breakfast, but I already know my body doesn't like when I skip meals. It's very sensitive to that type of stuff, so I figured I'll eat breakfast. But by the time I get to his house, I'm pretty sure my body will be ready to eat again. By the time the food is ready, I'm sure I'll be really ready to eat again, so it ain't gonna be an issue. But yeah, man, hope everybody's enjoying their Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays, even though the older I get, the less I can appreciate that it was founded on, the colonization of this country and suffering of people. You know what I mean? I don't particularly like the way that it came about, but that I'm usually able to consistently have good times with family and friends in these days, it's something I can't ignore. It's like, as I said a couple times ago, even though it's very difficult to wrap our minds around the culture of being fine with what took place, good can be done from within bad things, and that's unfortunate, but it's true. So as we move about trying to celebrate this day, we just remember that in giving, we're essentially honoring those who were able to see survival through the horrors, and were intentional on giving upon meeting up with the colonizers, even though the colonizers took advantage of that kindness and ultimately slaughtered them for their kindness. The spirit of that kindness is what I ultimately consider when trying to celebrate this day. We turn a bad into a good to the best of our ability, and live with the culture of propaganda that taught us how to celebrate the colonization of this country, for which is perverse in nature. And that's just what it is, man. It's a perverse situation, no different than Columbus Day. It's very wrong what transpired, that ultimately these folks have coerced us into celebrating. But that doesn't mean that the nature of what it is that we do on these days has to be condemned. I don't believe. You can do good on a day like this. You can praise God on a day like this. And so that's how I look at these type of days, because I know the culture from which we celebrate this process is wrong. I know that. But at the same time, I look at every Thanksgiving I've ever had, and I see nothing but love in my life. Family, togetherness, friendship, great food, consistently, you know what I mean? And the culture that we've taken into account as we move. It's about being thankful. Thankful for what the year has provided you. Thankful for what God has provided you if you believe in Him. Thankful for what good has happened in your life. Thankful that you still have a life to live. It's thankfulness regardless. And that's how I celebrate Thanksgiving. I'm not thinking about celebrating people who are hurting people. That's not at all something to celebrate in my mind. And so that's how I wrap my head around it. That's how I deal with it. But in that same breath, I said a lot of prayers this morning and last night about just the spirit of being forced to recognize the truth in circumstances such as these, and still be coerced into the space where you feel like you're being obtuse, I guess is the word, for not celebrating it. In the culture, it feels like we're being ornery, so to speak, if we just don't celebrate this holiday, you know what I mean? And there are a lot of people who I love, who I want to see, and I may only see them once a year. This is the day. So do I say F this holiday and not see my people? Like, the wrongdoing done on this day should not sour the opportunity to celebrate for those of us who don't have it in our intentions to take anything from anyone, who don't have it in our intentions to celebrate wrongdoing. Should the presence of their wrongdoing keep us from celebrating one another? And if it does, have they not in fact won by not only doing the evil that they've done, but effectively keeping us from being able to celebrate because of it? I think there's a lot of ways to look at it, and that's one way. When you let people keep you, because of the evil that they do, keep you from enjoying the people around you, and they've effectively won. And that is not something I'm willing to concede either. So that's why I'm going to go visit my friends and go eat some good food, see some folks I haven't seen since last year on this day. It's the truth, man. I've seen a couple of people since then, but not everybody. It's been an exact year, so this is really important, and my family celebrates this day. My mother celebrated this day, my grandmother. I've spent so many celebratory Thanksgivings with so many people that I love, many of whom are no longer with me. I just understand the importance of, when this day comes around, of continuing on that tradition. So yeah, man, that's what it is for me. I don't blame anybody for not celebrating it, though. I wish I was from a culture where we didn't celebrate a day where people were, celebrating themselves for slaughtering others, celebrating the conquering of a land that was stolen from innocent people. You know what I mean? Like, I will not lose sight of that. And I would love to be a part of a culture that doesn't have anything to do with that, or at least a part of a process that changes that culture entirely. Wiping away the notion that this is anything to celebrate at all. You know what I mean? That's what I plant my seed for in regards to the things that I say in my channel. I want to be a part of a nation that knows how to acknowledge that this is awful. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, that it is okay to admit that there was nothing okay about what was done for this this day to exist. I mean, I think about the people in Gaza who are suffering right now. I saw footage just last night. Good old-fashioned Israel, same old, in all of the devil's energy, replaced a lot of the food aid with sand, so that on this morning when them people open up those bags, there would be sand in there. At what part of the nature of facing your process of conquering people does it say that you have to be cruel to them? Like, I get it. You want us to believe that they've done awful things to you, or that they're capable of doing awful things to you, or that they're indoctrinated in such a way within their intentions that they want to kill all the Jews. Fine. If you want me to think these people are so awful that they deserve the worst of things, you have to explain to me why it is in the Jews to put sand in someone's aid. Or they can blanketly look at an entire people and say, you're all bad guys, you're all terrorists, and because of it, I'm going to terrorize you in ways that you haven't terrorized me. But I am not the terrorist. Like, and it's the type of energy that I have to think about on Thanksgiving as I'm celebrating people who are mocking people who did essentially what this day was all about. Mocking, as in copying them, not necessarily in folly, but seeing that the colonization process worked and are now trying to apply it to today's times in the Middle East. I'm supposed to go eat and celebrate essentially Israel, because Israel's just trying to be the pilgrims. Modern day, the pilgrims, that's all they're trying to be. And it's the type of evil stuff that the pilgrims did. And so for me, I use this time to walk down the street, headed to visit some friends, celebrating Thanksgiving, to let you know, to use my voice once again to raise awareness for what it is that's taking place there in Gaza. And may there be no Thanksgiving celebrating the Israelis for conquering the Palestinians and for terrorizing the surrounding neighborhoods and areas. May there be no Thanksgiving for them in regards to a celebratory day where they get to be united as and heralded as good people for doing horrible things, for lying and smearing the names of people that didn't want anything but to be left to enjoy their lives in their homes. I tell you right now, as far as I can tell, the good guys are the people that are enduring the worst of suffering in that situation. And the bad guys are the ones telling us the good guys are bad guys, man. And the fact that they have a line drive to our eardrums, that they have the ability to speak into our psyches, whatever the hell they have to say, is a curse in and of itself of all of us. It's our curse that these individuals get to tell the story about what's going on. That's a curse. That the bad guy gets to tell the story of who's good and who's bad. That the bad guy gets to mold the perception of the opponent. And tell all of us that those are bad guys. That in and of itself is something that we need to be uplifted from. That they would have even a way to communicate with us what they think it is a problem. It's a problem that we need to fix. As far as I can tell, they haven't been honest about anything. They ain't been honest about a damn thing. It's a certain deep level of cruelty that would make it so that somebody would put sand in people's aid when they've been starving. I wouldn't be happy if you did it to them. You understand what I'm saying? If you did that to Israeli children, I wouldn't be happy with you. As guilty as Israel is, as non-existent as it actually is, Israel, because it's not a real place. But if you were to take all of the children there, starve them for a year's time, and then when they finally do get some aid, that's supposed to be food, you put sand in it, I think you're an awful human being. It's the truth. And I want people to understand that enemies don't deserve certain treatment despite the perversion of this enemy's intentions upon that culture and how we're supposed to go forward in regards to how we handle our enemies. There's a certain dignity that you hold within yourself as you approach anybody, friend or enemy, that represents who it is that you are, that you don't betray. That's what I was taught. There's certain things you don't do to things that you're intending to kill. And these are the things those people are doing to them. You understand what I'm saying to you? There's certain decorum that you uphold as a human being for respecting yourself. Do you understand what I'm saying? You engage in warfare, you want to get back, you want to tear down the enemy, you want to do certain things, but there's certain things that don't come into your head because you don't allow yourself within your lifetime to be seen that way. You don't allow within your lifetime to be described that way by anybody who may be able to watch you do whatever the hell it is you're doing. Do you understand what I'm saying? Maybe a lot of us aren't crazy enough to define what that would be because they're so far outside of the realms of what it is we would do that it doesn't even matter that we would consider such things. But that you understand that there are lines you can cross that you probably shouldn't for the betterment of your own reputation, even when considering engaging in an enemy. It's very important for the remembrance of who it is that you're going to be in the history books. Those are the things that Israel is betraying every single time they operate toward their enemies. They describe themselves to be a certain evil, that if they were to guard against that, they could still effectively handle whatever it is that they want to handle, but they refuse to. They refuse to respect themselves in the process of engaging their enemy. And for that, they are disgraced in and of itself. And that's something I want to tell all the people who follow me. It's something that within this mindset and within this person, I deeply understand that they're betraying themselves when they do that. That what it is that taught them how to engage in warfare betrayed them. In the process of teaching them how to mold their reputation. To be respected, to be considered sane, to be considered dignified. They betray all of those things in their engagement with their so-called enemy. Not to mention that their enemy is literally innocent people. Children. And they wonder why people call them devils. They wonder why people don't believe them when they say they want peace. They wonder why people don't believe them when they say they're interested in engaging in conversation for ceasefire. When you see this type of decorum, when you see this type of disrespect of self is that they engage in, that they allow us to witness them do. No morals, no self-respect, no sense of pride as it pertains to how they pass forward their last names to their children and their children's children. Disgusting and barbaric people. That's what they're proving themselves to be. the most vile of us all. And the only thing it proves is that they're not due for any of the respect that they ultimately demand. That all that they own, for as wealthy as they are and as powerful as they are, it did not provide them any class. For all of the people that they have in their back pocket that try to mold the world so that we believe that they're the chosen people, they do nothing to prove themselves worthy of being chosen anything. They're lacking in wisdom in so many different areas of conversation that it would take more than this video to actually describe it to you. And that they hide behind the nature of their power. For if not the presence of that power, they don't have anything that anyone would ever revere. This is what they've proven themselves to be throughout the course of this genocide. They're an embarrassment to the human race. That's all they've proven themselves to be. And that is exactly what I have no problem telling people in my lifetime. No problem telling you that. Despite it being so wrong from within the confines of politics, so wrong within the confines of capitalism to describe wrongdoing when done by these people. I have no problem with stepping outside of those lines comfortably. Because they have not earned my respect in how they engage with their enemy. Why the hell would I respect it? If not for the presence of the agreement that we should forego the opportunity to hold someone accountable for being decent. If not for the presence of that, why would I respect it? I tell you I would not. With a clear mind and a conscious mind, I would not. They don't deserve my reverence. They torture children. They kill press members who try to tell the truth about the wrongdoing that they engage in. They manipulate governments. They manipulate media. They kill their own people. And I'm supposed to be in reverence of them for some reason? There's no reason. That's the point. Whatever holds that reason together is just as weak as them, as far as I can tell. I mean, I look up and I see a sun I can't look into it directly without harming my eyes. There's something greater than myself. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And it ain't Israel. Israel can't make the sun shine. It can't take the sun away. It can't create a human being. It can only take them away. And guess what? As a man, I can do the same thing. So what reverence should I provide them? When they're being cruel, not only to the people that they're pointed at, but to themselves in regards to how they paint themselves out to be a horrible, horrible representation of what power is ultimately supposed to be. And I'm supposed to revere them, abhor them. I want people to understand something about me in regards to this conversation. I'm living in a time where it makes absolutely all the sense in the world for me to never say the words I'm saying. I'm in a country that has been behind this entity every step of the way, regardless of how wrong it is. The people that ultimately make sure that the lights stay on in this place are in fact intentional on supplying this entity with everything it needs to continue on its mission. It is within my best interest to ignore this entity and support it whenever public. And I'm telling you, it ain't earned that respect. As long as the sun's shining on my head, I know something's greater than me and greater than that. And I'm not going to do it. The energy that it engages in doesn't age well, and what holds it together is weak and will fall apart. That is what I understand. That a good portion of the people around me do not, for whatever reason. There's nothing okay with what Israel's doing. It's nothing okay with what the Pilgrims did. And it's nothing okay with anybody who would otherwise try to mimic either one of them later on. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with saying that, despite every bit of what it is that they would otherwise try to mold the world to be, which is afraid to say something like that. And with all the power that they have, the first thing they want to do is harm people that have no interest in doing anything at all to them. And then telling all of us that they have every intention of doing horrible things to them. Oh, no, I can't do that, brother. But that's what it really comes down to, man. There's nothing okay about allowing that to continue. If we continue on the process of letting people and energies like that continue to uplift itself off the backs of the suffering that it applies to innocent people, then I guarantee you we're no better than it. We are no better than the entity that's engaging in that. If we are continuing to be silent and to continue to uphold the energy from which it engages in. If we are the ones that are going to sit back and let them do it because we're too afraid of what happens to our own hide, as if we get to live immortal, if we coincide with that type of self-preservation, as if you ain't going to die of something else any damn way. You are. That's the God's honest truth. A lot of people are afraid of what happens if we tell the truth. You're going to die of something else. You're going to suffer a cancer. That thing's going to hit you harder than the bullets they throw at you for telling the truth. And you don't even know it because obviously hindsight is 20/20. Foresight is blind. And that, my friends, is why faith is so important. You only die once in this life you're in. But the conversation about who you were goes around 1,000,000 times. What you allowed goes around 1,000,000 times. You die 1,000,000 times in the mouths of those who didn't respect you. You die 1,000,000 times in the minds of those who tell lies about you. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I walked the earth today telling the truth about what it is I see in regards to that situation. Because I want people to tell the truth, that I told the truth and that I was proud of the truth and I wasn't afraid of those who would otherwise want me to be quiet about whatever it is they were doing in that situation. And I want people to understand that they were pointing that energy at your children. I would have the same energy pointed at them if they were doing it to you. I would not be aligned with that. I would not be silent to that just because they did it to you and not. And I have maybe had some interest in making sure they didn't do it to a certain people. I don't want them to do it to any damn body. That's the God's honest truth. I didn't want Israel to do this to anyone. Not just the Palestinians. The Palestinians are special people, and so is your people. And nobody should have to go through the stuff that Israel's putting them through. Nobody. And that's what I want people to understand about me as I speak. I stand up for the Palestinian people because they are the ones this is pointed at. They're the ones in the crosshairs of this evil entity. If they were pointed at you, I'd still be saying the same thing. And I'm not sitting here waiting for everybody to have that same energy for my humanity, like a lot of us require in order for us to stand up against energy such as these. That's selective humanity. I don't have any interest in that. That's what births the same energy that ultimately enslaved my people. It's people only caring about their own people. People only caring about people in their section. People only caring about people that look a way that they can support for whatever damn reason. I don't give a damn about none of that. That's evil to me, man. If I'm being completely honest with you, that is evil to me. What about us? What about us? What you do for us lately? I don't care what happens to them because you line up over there with the Israelis. You can line up with them. If that's your energy, man, get up off my channel. Because I'm telling y'all right now, I don't roll like that. I don't respect that. And that basically is my enemy. I'm telling you right now, if you're one of those individuals, regardless of what your color is, whether they look like mine or look like theirs, someone else's, if you only care that genocide don't be pointed at you and you really don't give a damn that it happens to somebody else, you're in the wrong place. I don't have nothing for you. As far as I'm concerned, you need to be in jail for genocide, enabling genocide and being fine with genocide. People like that need to be in prison. They're going to be quiet and comfortable and willing to do deals with Israel until that energy's pointed at them. Then they sitting around looking for humanity. Ain't none. You didn't find any in yourself, you ain't going to have none pointed at you. That's what I know. You wait for that evil to knock on your door before you have an interest in stopping it. Hell no. Don't let it get anywhere near my house. I don't want it in my neighbor's house. I don't want it in my neighboring country's house. I don't want it on the other side of the world. You understand what I'm saying? If you want to be preventative, be effective. Godless entities. That's all that is. That's godlessness. I care about ours. I care about us. You godless. You might as well line up with the Israelis. And so I'm telling everybody that listens to me the truth, man. Down with any form of genocide or colonization project or stealing people's land or taking back land that you feel was stolen from you 5,000 years ago. I'm sorry that happened to you, but you have absolutely no right to jump on somebody else who may be inhabiting the land today and saying it belongs to you and you're going to take it back for your great, however many greats you can find in your mind to state, to represent how long it's been since you actually had that land. You have no right. And I don't care how many books told you what. Those books are not telling the truth. And that you agree with those books just means that you're lying to yourself too. Because your compassion tells you that shit is wrong. But if you ignore that, what other aspects of truth are you going to ignore to align with your evil doings? Where does this end for you? And somebody writing a book, it's okay for you to do this, that, and the third. You willing to do it all? Somebody tell you it's not okay to be truthful, not okay to be honest, not okay to be humane. They put it in a book. You believe it, right? Full of shit. Put that in a book. My outrage is valid. My anger is normal. There's nothing normal about what it is that this society is comfortable with. There's nothing normal about what Israel is doing and that we're backing them as a country. Ain't nothing normal about that. I won't apologize for being free of thought, or rather a free thinker, not free of thought. But you get the point. I'm not going to apologize for being able to think for my damn self. Being able to identify something is no good. That ain't something I'm going to apologize for. And I tell you right now, man, the powers that be are no good. Because they align with the godlessness that adheres to a demon on earth that terrorizes people. And they do it on the backs of individuals that don't know exactly what's going on there. People that they've coerced into being complicit. People they've coerced into funding the nonsense. They all need to be given what comes with being complicit to mass murder. And if we're doing things correctly, that's exactly what they're going to face before the end of their lives. All million of them, or however many it is. And like I told y'all many times on this channel, I'm praying the Lord does the difficult math, man. I'm not interested in people holding themselves accountable for this type of behavior. I'm not interested in that. And America always asks Israel to hold itself accountable. That's just a corrupt entity looking at another corrupt entity and saying, let's work together. That's all that's saying to me. They ain't saying nothing at all. We're waiting for Israel to investigate itself. And when it finds what it's done is okay, then we will come back to you and tell you that it was fine. Like, man, if you don't get your corrupt ass out of my face with that stupid mumbo jumbo, all of you deserve what comes with them getting what they deserve. If that's what you're engaging in. We're ceasefiring. We don't want to ceasefire. We're vetoing the ceasefire. You know that you're complicit to mass murder. So whatever comes with that, you would do. As long as we're clear on that. So every time I see one of these faces that get up here and say, no, we're not, we're going to veto that. No, I think we got the jargon that has been given to us telling us that it's okay to do that. Listen to me. You listen to me very carefully. A lot of people have been murdered because of your interest in what you've done. So when it comes down to it, when they want to do something barbaric to you in response to that, don't look at me like I'm supposed to have something to say about it. Black woman, black man, they always want to use one of us to do it. You're complicit to genocide, friend. They kill people for a lot less. People get the chair for a lot less. You understand what I'm saying to you? Don't expect for me not to be okay with them giving it to you. Because that's exactly what you deserve. Ma'am. Sorry. See, that's the reality of this. It's like that's so ridiculous because these people are public officials and they represent a certain people. They don't speak for themselves. They're just doing their job. So if I sign up for a job that makes it so that I am co-signing mass murder, I don't get the chair for that? Interesting. As long as we continue to allow our world to work this way, there's always going to be people suffering because of our complicity to that type of energy. Maybe you don't believe in capital punishment in your state. Whatever, fair. But people like that should never see the light of day. If you ain't going to neutralize them like the dogs that they are, they should never see the light of day again. If we're doing the difficult math, we'll make sure we do something. We'll make sure they don't die of old age in their comfortable homes, surrounded by their family like they deserve. If they were good people, no. Complicit to genocide. They need to be in prison forever. Or whatever your state would allow. Whatever your conscience will allow you to support. Just know that their conscience supports your death and a million other people's death too. It's their job. It's their job. And this is why I'm telling everybody here who listens to me. And my job is to tell the truth about them. My job is to tell you exactly what I'm seeing there. Tell you about the sand. Tell you about them bombing hospitals. Tell you about all the evil, cruel stuff that they've been doing over the course of this last year. And better yet, since 1946. 1946. Or was it 47? One of them 2 years. It might have been 47. My mother was born in 46. The duration of my mom's entire life and well past her passing, these people have been torturing these people. In the name of their job. In the name of their country. In the name of their book. In the name of their flag. You know, I don't know much about much, man. Symbolism is not really my expertise by any stretch of the imagination. I don't know much about much. But what I can say is, I was listening to some content, and some dude was getting on a lady named Jaguar Wright. This guy named The Truth Is, was getting on Jaguar Wright for having a tattoo that she has since covered up of the Baphomet. Far be it for me to understand the Baphomet. I don't know nothing about that, man. I'm just being honest with you. From what I understand, it's an evil entity. Maybe represents the devil himself. I'm not certain. But one thing I do know about the Baphomet is in the picture that I saw of the Baphomet, do you know what was on the Baphomet's forehead? Right there where our third eye would otherwise be? The Star of David. Same star on the Israeli flag. The same star that represents the Jewish faith. It's on the Baphomet's head. That's what I saw. Is it always there, or was it just in this depiction of the Baphomet? I don't know nothing. I'm just telling you what I saw. It was right there. Right there. Take that information with you as you move along your life. By the way, Jaguar Wright is on my prayer list. She's been on there for years. Since I found out her son died, she's been on the prayer list. Lord didn't tell me to pray for people who were innocent. He didn't tell me to pray for good people or bad people. He's just put it in my heart to pray for people. And with the understanding of the human experience means there are certain things that we don't understand, that we come to understand. That within our walk of life, we may find ourselves in dark spaces where we're nothing but evil. And if we are able to survive that, maybe we turn into good people and get out of those dark spaces. I've been in dark spaces in my life. I've been deserving of hell in certain times in my life. I don't know that God is going to send me to heaven when it's all said and done. I'm not certain. But I can tell you I'm not in those spaces right now. I can tell you that I'm fighting for good right now. I can tell you that I plan on staying there too. And if the Lord wants to hold me accountable for the evil that I did in my past, that is something I'm willing to be comfortable with him doing, because I trust God. I trust him. And when I was engaging in the energy I didn't have any business engaging in, I didn't trust God. I didn't know to trust him like I know now. He's shown me by his grace that he was willing to prove to me that he was trustworthy. That for which I did not earn nor deserve. It was grace provided that he could be trusted. And continue to breathe life into my vessel. So when I look at people who may be in the dark, or may have been in the dark in the past and didn't know of God, or maybe didn't learn to trust God yet, or maybe have recently learned to trust God and now are no longer in those engagements, I understand that I'm not better than those individuals, because God too allowed me to continue to breathe after being in dark spaces where I deserved hot hell. So I want people to understand that. I don't know, there's too many men walking this earth that haven't been in dark spaces where they were probably deserving of the worst. But if they were worth their salt, they found their way out of those spaces and are getting better every day. Many are not worth their salt. So that's what I'm here to say, man. I ain't her judge. And I don't know that God is pleased with her choices. I don't know that he was pleased with mine. I don't know what curse she may have placed upon her head when she put that tattoo on her body, nor do I know what curse I may have put upon my head when I was engaging in energy I didn't have any business engaging in. That's not my job to try to figure it out. It is my job to pray for who he put in my heart to pray for without questioning him, because I trust him. And that trust is what I'm supposed to move forward in, not in the judgment of others. Least of all in the judgment of myself. That's his job. Religion will tell you otherwise, that you're supposed to condemn and approve of the behaviors of men. But the reality is you don't know what people are doing in the dark. So far be it from me to be able to approve or deny anyone of anything, for it's not for me to provide them the grace that otherwise would be given by something greater than me, of whom I apply my faith in. But when it comes to killing children and mass murdering individuals and smearing them out to be people who are not good, I can tell you I have a long way to go in regards to viewing them properly. I can tell you that I ain't there yet. that I can't see them the same way that I may see somebody who wore a tattoo that might not have necessarily praised God at some point, but had it covered up. I can't say that I look at them the same way that I look at the monster that is Israel as they engage in genocide. That we want to tell each other who's evil and who's good, but who's actually really engaging in the devilish behavior, the real stuff. Not people who dress in black, not people who wear tattoos, not people who don't understand symbolism but like the way it looks because it's cool, not people who don't necessarily know how to not disrespect themselves in their young age as they move promiscuously or join a gang and do something violent. That's not real evil. In comparison, those may be evil deeds, and it may get them tossed into hell, but it ain't the same deal, and we all know that. People who hide behind religion and engage in murderous behaviors, hide behind religion and engage in behaviors that ultimately take manhood and hurt people. It's a different type of evil than what it is they tell you that symbol represents, or something they tell you that you'll see in this darkness or whatever the hell they're telling you. Real evil is institutionalized racism. Real evil is institutionalized religious extremism that ultimately is supported by governments, paid into by lobby groups. That's the real boogeyman in the world, friends. An entity that would effectively take an entire land and then celebrate itself on a holiday like today for doing so. That's the real devil in the world. Not some red picture some dude made while he was high off PCP of a ghoulish entity with horns. I tell you right now, religion has taught me that I'm supposed to turn away from certain people, turn toward certain people, and I trust God. I honor God by following religion, but I trust God as he speaks to my spirit, telling me what's right and wrong, speaking into me in whatever ways he chooses, including the Bible if he chooses, of showing me what's right and wrong and how I can apply that to understanding the behaviors that I see. Thinking for self, putting faith in God simultaneously. It is possible. I'm telling you right now, there's nothing wrong with believing in God in the presence of an entity that wants to play God while harming people in a fit of rage and weakness. So that's pretty much all I got to say about that, man. I hope everybody's enjoying their celebration. I'm going to enjoy mine. My people have been calling me right now, but I wasn't going to stop this video. I wasn't going to do it. But I'm on my way. Video 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.